So in this video, we're going to discuss a couple of very important things. One is how governments track you. They track your activity, they track your entry and exit. And I'm not just talking about your home country government, I'm talking about other governments around the world, how they're able to track you using your passport. And that's why having an alternate passport strategy is critical, and it's to do nothing wrong, right? You're not trying any games, you're not doing illegal things, always trying to follow the law. But your privacy is your personal business. You need to be in control of your own privacy. When shit hits the fan, you want to protect yourself, you want to have your own strategies. Now, not all governments act in the same manner. Not all governments are fair. Some governments illegally target their citizens. They decide to create the laws, and you are the one who has to follow them. You have no choice. Whether you agree, you don't agree, whether they're right, whether they're wrong, they are the ones deciding. So that's the reason. The reason I'm stressing or mentioning this is not to do things incorrectly, but to protect yourself and your family from corrupt and draconian governments. Some of those politicians are crooks, they're criminals, and you're far better than them, right? You're not doing anything remotely close to what they are doing. All you're trying to do is have your safeguards, your checks and balances, your personal and private checks and balances in place, and that's where you want to have a private passport strategy. The second important topic I wanted to touch upon is the information, right, that's collected. And a lot of governments actually hate it when you're trying to change your name. So it's your personal business, it's your own name, but the government decides whether you can change it, not change it. And this could be wrong, this could be illegal in the eyes of a lot of people, but in the eyes of the government, nope. You're not able to change your own name. It's none of your business. It is the government's business. They have put draconian rules in place where you cannot change it. And that's where you want to be in with governments that allow you to do it, partially allow you to do it. And it doesn't have to be a drastic name change. There's native script, and there's a lot of interesting and smart strategies that citizens can adopt in order to get the desired results. I'm going to touch upon that. Before we get to the whole name change and the tracking aspect of things, first let's understand what is the information that they control. What's the information they're trying to get? Let's summarize this, right? So your name, which is first name, middle name, and last name, your country of birth. Now, fortunately, the name can change legally for legal purposes. The place of birth, unfortunately, cannot change. If you try to change that, that could be viewed as fraud because you were born where you were born. You really cannot change it. The other thing that you cannot change is the time of birth. Now, of course, it varies from which country you were born in and the interpretation and stuff like that. But these are the two constants. That is your date of birth and your place of birth is a constant. Thankfully, within the place of birth, it's usually a country, and date of birth is obviously what it is. What are the other things, right? More personal things, more invasion of privacy that you face all the time. Things like your fingerprints, could be a thumb, could be your index finger and the thumb, it could be your 5 fingers, or it could be 10 printing all your fingers. So some countries want to invade all your privacy. They'll try to capture all your fingerprints, save them, and later on when they need you, they want to make use of your own fingerprints. What else? You have DNA. Some governments go to the extent of collecting DNA from its immigrants. They have started it nonetheless. And then there's the retina, the eye scan, right? So the iris scan. So some countries will obviously want to capture that and keep it. They would want to keep as much data as possible. Facial recognition, that's something that they would like to keep. And a lot of governments are now scanning profiles, your social media accounts. They want to see different pictures of you, maybe videos of you, behavior, and those kind of analytics. So once they have all this information captured, they pretty much can precision pinpoint you when you're walking on the street. So when you're on their territory, they exactly know every single thing about you. And that is the level of sophistication to which governments want to get to. Now, you cannot change the fact that you're already in some of these systems. So when you're on their territory, that's the bad part, right? You're on their territory, they exactly know who you are, you don't have any privacy, you're completely under their surveillance, maybe you don't like it. So when you're not on those territories, right, you're diversifying your presence in some other territory, which gives you 100% freedom, right? When you have 100% freedom, what I mean is you don't have any of that nonsense or craziness that goes on back home. So back home could be scenic, it could be beautiful, it could be safe and whatnot, but it's not private, right? You're always under surveillance and monitoring, and you would want to diversify your experience. You would want to be in a slightly different location, which is safe, which is nice, but does not have all that invasion of privacy. And when shit hits the fan, you have the choice between switching from this draconian territory to a more freedom oriented territory. That's the whole concept. And what a lot of countries want to do is capture these vital biometrics and shove them on that chip that you see on the passport, and that's all the biometric data fed on the passports. When you're carrying that booklet, right, when you're traveling, governments can remotely access the RFID chip, they can access your data, they can decode your data and get all that information that's packed in that microchip, and then do the same thing, replicate the same behavior that's asked or expected of them from some of those same draconian Western regimes. Now, this is where the whole passport matters. Now, a lot of these countries, what they do as a practice is that when you're trying to leave their territory, they're going to track you. So they're in control of who is leaving. So the moment you're presenting your passport, you're a citizen of that country, you're under the control or the jurisdiction of that country as their citizen. Once you're a citizen of that country, they have absolute control over you. So if they want to prevent you from exiting, you don't have that option. They're going to obviously not let you exit. When you're entering in, you have entered the system, they know you're registered. In the event of something goes wrong, they have 100% control over you. This is where you want to think about nationalities or passports who don't have that much data shoved down that chip. A lot of countries do not ask you to provide biometrics. Their passport are not biometric, so they give you certain amount of privacy, and there are a lot of countries who are not at that level. They don't want to get to that level. Maybe they don't give you citizenships directly, but they do give you residency. So when you're entering that country, they're not dealing with your biometrics. You're getting an entry into their country, so you are on a territory. Maybe you're not a citizen of that place, but because it's a place of residency, you're safe inside, you have rights inside, and the passport that you have used to enter that territory could be a country where the citizenship is far easier, far simpler, and then you are taking their nationality, you're entering this country, and you have a unique combination outside your plan A combination, where your plan A is sitting at home. You have deposited that in your home country, you're not using that, but you have exited using your second nationality, which does not invade your privacy, and then you are headed to a plan B territory, which does not believe in any of that nonsense. Yes, understood that they're not giving you a citizenship the same day, but some other country is giving you the citizenship, and this country is letting you enter. When shit hits the fan, you're in this country, spending your time fighting your case out or clearing your name or battling those draconian regimes remotely while you're doing your time in this country. Time meaning a beautiful time enjoying what the country has to offer, and every country has beautiful areas and beautiful things that you can enjoy. So you enjoy those things, naturalize in that country, get the passport that they'll give you on day 2, but in the interim you always have a passport which does not believe in biometric. What's also very important is a discreet and a private due diligence process. Now, when your country is giving you a citizenship, you don't want to be caught red-handed. You don't want to be supplying all the information that you don't believe in supplying, and that is where you have programs called as Citizenship by Exception, where they are not scrutinized, or they're not open for public scrutiny or Western scrutiny, I would say, because no one knows about their citizenship processes. They're more private, they're more discreet, they're legal, 100% legal. The country has the control of naturalizing who they want to naturalize, and that's where certain countries absolutely shine, like Turkey, like Cambodia, like Egypt. Very private, very discreet processes. So although their passports are not attractive for the travel mobility, but that's where you're striking the residency, but their passport is providing with that discreet privacy, right? What else? There's African countries, a bunch of them, or at least 2 or 3 countries that do offer quick citizenships. Some programs are citizenship by investment, and other programs are citizenship by exception. If you're doing exceptional investment in a country, you can naturalize. Now, the citizenship by exception is usually in your favor because it's more flexible. You can negotiate the requirements, you can negotiate the information that you're sharing, because they don't have the pressure of other countries scrutinizing them or targeting them, they have the option of giving you that leeway, and then you naturalize. So you control the information that's being supplied, you control the due diligence process in a legal way, and the information that you have provided, all the accurate information that is collected, and then you become a citizen. Ideally, a lot of people would not want to get into the whole chip business. They would want to get a non-biometric option, so it's more private for their purposes. Now, what are some of the CBI programs that are still private? I think CBI programs like Nauru and Vanuatu shine in this domain because they have stuck it out. Yes, I know a lot of people don't like these programs. They badmouth these programs, and the simple reason is they're cheaper. They don't have that much margin. That's why they get. But if you talk about Caribbean, they're some of the most invasive programs. They're not all, but some are absolutely invasive, and they get promoted, they get marketed because there's a hefty price to those programs. So they would want the investor to buy those because they're more expensive, they offer more commissions, and programs are cheaper programs like Nauru or Vanuatu get bad-mouthed because they don't have that much commission, because those programs don't cost as much. But you got to take that information with a grain of salt, because eventually you're going to get residencies using some of these nationalities, and then it's all about having residency rights. That right will help you open up a business, open up bank accounts. Your nationality or your passport does not matter. Even people from Somalia get asylum in foreign countries, get bank accounts, do their business, change their citizenship, graduate to a more powerful passport. So which country you come from hardly matters, of course, except North Korea, Russia, or some sanctioned countries, or Iran. So if you leave those countries aside, most other nationalities, or I would say all other nationalities, are just about fine. Now, we are helping our clients quickly, and one of the biggest speciality with us is that we have direct access to these governments, to some of these governments. We have direct liaisons, teams that work on getting not just the passport, not just the nationality certificate, but other documents like travel IDs and stuff like that. So we have expedite procedures and comprehensive procedures to legally obtain your citizenship and naturalization documents across multiple countries. If you like all the fancy tools and technologies, like your fingerprints being embossed on the passport, you can go for more standardized programs, more controlled programs. We can do that. Or if you're interested in private options, you want to keep things legal but want to get private and discreet options, then obviously we support you with that. You can always click the link, we can have that discussion, see what you're up to, and as long as you're doing your things responsibly, we can get you started with the citizenship or the option of your choice. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed before you go, and catch you in the next one.